Welcome to the Complete Beginner's Guide to TradingView, where today we will show you the basics of how to use TradingView, what key tools and indicators you need to learn, and many other features to elevate your trading to the next level. I've partnered with Crypto.com to provide my viewers with an awesome opportunity to accelerate their crypto journey. Crypto.com is used by over 50 million users in 90 countries across the globe and is a leading platform for buying, selling and staking crypto. They also offer metal Visa cards with a huge range of rewards that allow you to convert and withdraw your crypto in fiat currency. Crypto.com is offering a $25 sign up reward using my affiliate link in the description or by entering affiliate code RyanProven. Welcome to the main screen of TradingView, and the first thing you need to know is how do you select a stock or a crypto or an ETF that you want to look at. First and foremost, this button at the top known as symbol search is your key to doing so. Selecting this button will allow you to search for anything that you want to analyze. What we have on the screen right now is the Bitcoin against the US dollar, but if I exit that, what you can see is a lot of the standard and most popular tickers that people like to look at. As you can see, we have a mix of various different things, such as Forex, such as crypto, such as the stock market, but all you simply need to do is type in the symbol for what you want to find. So we're going to keep the Bitcoin USD chart and select it by typing it in simply and then choosing from one of these options here. I'm going to select the Bitcoin/USD, which is the Coinbase version. Clicking that will bring up the chart then for this ticker. A fantastic feature of TradingView is that it allows you to overlay one chart over another. To do this, we'll go up to the plus symbol next to the symbol select tool, and this is called the compare or add symbol button. We'll select that and then you can search for whatever you want, but in this instance I'm going to select the ETH USD chart to be overlaid. What this does is shows the relative growth of ETH to USD in comparison to the Bitcoin to USD chart. You can see this from a percentage perspective on the right hand side. And right now what you can see is basically Bitcoin versus USD has risen over this period of time we're looking at right now, 50%, whereas the ETH USD has risen 265%. This is a fantastic feature that basically enables you to compare the growth of stocks or of Forex or of crypto against each other. Right now what we're looking at is the daily chart, and this is to do with the intervals at which the candles appear. So each of these individual candles that you see currently on the screen indicates the price action over the period of 24 hours. In order to adjust those intervals, what you do is you go up to the tab at the top, which has a D on it at this point in time. Now it may have a different symbol depending on what time frame or what interval you have in place. Selecting this then provides you with various ranges of options as to adjusting this. So for instance, if we wanted to see the price action from an hourly perspective instead of a daily perspective, we'd select the 1 hour option. What this will then do is adjust the chart, and what you may need to do is use this tab on the right hand side, click and hold the value of the price to adjust so you can see, but now we are viewing the candles from an hourly point of view as opposed to a daily point of view. Now typically this is really good for if you want to get down into the details, or the polar opposite if you want to go to, for instance, the monthly chart and zoom out for an overall look of what has happened with regards to whatever ticker you are currently looking at. This is a great feature for being able to analyze trends and various different time intervals. Sometimes looking at the basic candle chart may not be your preference. So what TradingView allows you to do is adjust the type of chart you're looking at. Simply go up to the top and select the candles option here, and you will see all the various different types of candle patterns or other charts that are available. Selecting the line chart, for example, will convert the overall chart to show this type of style. Another great example is the Fibonacci. I've probably butchered that name, but selecting this will then show you this style of chart. And this is great for various different types of analysis and allows you to view things from a different perspective. The next tab we want to look at is the Indicators tab, and this is found at the top as well. And when we select the Indicators tab, it shows us the various different indicators, metrics, and strategies that are available for us to overlay on our chart. And as you can see, just scrolling through the indicators section, there is a ton of various different indicators and of course strategies for you to choose from and review. Now keep in mind as well, we do have additional sections here, the auto drawings and patterns that basically do the analysis for you, which is really cool stuff. So for instance, if I wanted to see the Fibonacci retracement automatically placed on my chart, I'd select that option and then this would populate itself based on the current data at play. Now this might not be perfect and it might not be what you're exactly looking for, but it allows you to view this from a, I suppose, basic or a beginner's perspective and allows you to understand how these sort of indicators, strategies, or various different methodologies actually work. So I highly recommend that you muck around and have a look in there to see what works for you. Going back to the indicators section, as this is probably the most important section you'll use, make sure you take advantage of the search bar at the top here. Something that a lot of people like to see, for example, are moving averages. So selecting the moving average is simple as typing it in or scrolling down to it, finding the correct indicator, selecting that one there, and you can see it has now appeared on our chart. From there, you can see up here, this is basically where the indicator has appeared itself. At this point in time, it is set to the defaults, but selecting the cog tool, which is known as the settings tab, by hovering over it, allows you to then bring up the detail behind it and modify it. So if we didn't want to see 9 days worth of trading, for instance, and instead we wanted to base our moving average off 50 days of trading, we'd simply chuck in the number 50 there and the line would adjust itself to show us the 50-day moving average. Furthermore, if you do want to adjust the style of it, you can do so as well. For instance, changing the color that is actually displayed, as you can see over here, in order to suit your preferences. You can see there's a visibility tab as well, so that can be adjusted. Please have a look, muck around with these various sorts of things because it is the best way to find what suits your style. Now it's also worth keeping in mind as well, you can overlay multiple of these indicators at the same time. So for instance, I have a 50-day moving average, but if I wanted to also see the 20-day moving average, I could select it once again. It would populate itself with the default values and I'd simply go in, put in 20, change this chart to show a different color to delineate it from the other line. And as you can see there, we now have the 20 and the 50-day moving averages. Now let's say I didn't want to see these on the chart anymore. All I need to do is simply hover back over these buttons again and select the remove button. That would then remove the moving averages or any other indicators from the screen that I have selected. One of the most important parts of trading analysis is being able to draw your own trend lines. So we're going to move over to the toolbar on the left hand side of the screen. And the first indicator we want to look at is the trend lines tool. And what we can do is either just directly select the trend line tool and start clicking and then drawing your 2 points. So that was 1 click there, 2 click there, and you can see a line has added itself. Or if we don't like that style, for instance, we can select the little arrow to the right of it, which will then bring up another menu which shows different styles. So for instance, if I wanted to use the arrow trend line instead, I could select that and start drawing, and as you can see, it has been adjusted. Now, one key thing to note is you can change how this visually looks. So once I've put it in place, you can see this menu has appeared at the top of the screen. I can change things such as the color, I can change things such as the width, and I can change things such as the style in order to suit what I want to do. Another very important point to note is there are many different ways that you can basically use hotkeys as well. And we'll get into hotkeys a bit later, but something for the trend lines, for instance, is if you hold down Control before you select, it'll draw a line from the point you are currently at to whatever candle you want. If we then zoom in, you can then adjust it to the top, the middle, or the bottom sections of each candle, and it will draw you a perfect line. If you want to do it a bit more yourself and keep it horizontal, you can then easily hold down the Shift key, and this will then keep a completely straight line in either a horizontal, a diagonal, or vertical direction. This is great, especially for marking out key points of support and resistance, but as soon as I release that Shift key, you can see that it unlocks this. Holding it back down again will instantly snap that back into place and allow me to select and then easily place that line. Now, after the lines themselves are placed, you can select the ends of them to readjust them, and as well as that, you can move the entire line itself by selecting the center of it. This is a fantastic tool and probably one of the most used tools when it comes to TradingView. So we already took a look at automatic or pre-made indicators for you, but you can also draw your own using this tool up in the left. And this tool is the Gann and Fibonacci tool. So you would have recalled the Fibonacci tool from before, and clicking this, you can see there is an absolute ton of tools for you to use to draw and do your own analysis. For example, if we select the Fib retracement tool, what we can do is basically select our first point and then select our second point up here to put in place Fibonacci methodology. And what that allows us to do is basically apply this to anywhere we want to on the chart in order to perform analysis very quickly and very easily. If you want to remove it, simply click on it, then hit the delete button on your keyboard. The next tool I want to look at is one of my favorite tools, and it's because I use it so often for doing videos on YouTube, and that is this paintbrush tool up in the top left. What this allows you to do is freeform paint any way you would like. You can once again adjust the colors, you can adjust the thickness and other factors as well, or you can also expand this menu out to draw geometric shapes. So for instance, if I wanted to draw an ellipse, I would select a point, then select another point, and then drag outwards, as you can see, and that then creates an ellipses for us, which is really, really cool. There's also a few other features in here, such as if you want to draw a curve on a chart, once again, you select a few key points. So if I wanted to draw a curve from here to here for whatever reason, and then extend that out any which way, flip that around the other direction, I can simply do so. This is really, really good for creating videos and creating a bit more detail in your analysis, as it allows you to put your own unique spin on the chart itself. When you're performing your own analysis, often you come back to it for a later occasion and then review what has happened. And in doing so, you want to leave yourself some notes or possibly even explain the analysis that is on your chart. This tool up in the top left is known as the Annotation tool, and it allows you to put in place a variety of different text formats and that sort of thing to put notes on your page. So for instance, if I select the text tool, then a text box will appear. Once again, you have all these various different factors when it comes to modifying this, and I can type anything I want in this, then select OK, move it around anywhere I want onto this chart, and once again you can go back and edit exactly what you've done, whether it be from a color or a size perspective, or double click on it and you can edit that note again. Let's say I want to put a 1 on there. There you go, you have that as well. If we go back into it, you can see there are a lot of different formats. You can input images, tweets, balloons, for instance. A balloon is a really cool one. So if I type in that there, it puts in place a balloon comment. It just looks a lot nicer. There are a lot of different ways you are able to do this. So it's really whatever suits your preference for the direction that you're moving. A cool one is, for instance, if you're wanting to explain a downwards movement, you put the downwards arrow in place, then you type your text above it, and it will basically automatically put that text to the top of this point. So really, really cool type of tool for you to use. As you know, when it comes to trading, there are a lot more patterns and tools to use than simply just Fibonacci and Gans. What we can go to is the patterns tool on the left hand side here, and what you can see is a variety of many other patterns, including head and shoulders, Elliott waves, cipher patterns, all that sort of thing. I'll show you the head and shoulders pattern, for example. This is one of the most common patterns that you will tend to see when it comes to trading. So if I wanted to put one of these in place, I'd select to put the left shoulder down, top end of that shoulder, bottom end of that shoulder, once again probably here. Let's chuck the head in place, then come back down to where the next shoulder starts itself off, go up to the top, and then come down a bit like that. And you can see that is obviously very, very rough. So what you can then do is adjust everything. And if you want to adjust everything, simply grab one of the dots at the bottom and start moving things around. And what that enables you to do is perfect the way that you want any of these things to actually look like at this point in time. As you can see, this is obviously very, very rough, but I implore you to have a look around, muck around, look at some tutorials on how to put these patterns in place so you can understand and use them effectively when performing your trading analysis. Another very important part of trading is making predictions and being able to input places where you want to buy and sell. And yes, we could basically draw these ourselves with some of the tools we've already seen, such as the line tool or the drawing tool, but instead, what TradingView allows you to do is input in the top left here, prediction and measurement tools. So as you can see, we have a variety here, but let's say, for example, we wanted to take a long position on a stock or a crypto. Let's simply click that button there for the long position, start from where we've possibly bought from, and you can see that is basically where we are at this point in time. You can see that there's an upwards trending line that has automatically input itself from the perspective of where we were to where the price currently is, and then we can adjust our target. So let's suggest, for instance, that we wanted our target to be at this point here. That then allows us to visualize when we want to basically sell the stock or the crypto, or buy the stock or the crypto, or whatever it may be. You can also adjust the stops as well. So you might have a stop loss range down just below here. You don't want to lose any more money than this point. You can adjust that as well, and this will basically put a stop in place. This is a fantastic way for us to visualize what is going on without having to muck around by drawing the lines ourselves, and it looks very, very good. As you can see, there are plenty of tools and plenty of different options for you depending on how you want to trade or analyze a stock or a crypto. So please make sure you take a look at these, use them, make sure as well you experiment with them and see what suits you. I know there are a lot of people out there who love to get creative with their charts and just add a little bit of an extra flair or some symbols to their charts to indicate certain things. Now, fortunately, TradingView also allows you to input what is known as icons, and selecting that button on the left and expanding that menu shows an absolute ton of icons in place. So, for example, if I wanted to select this exclamation mark, I could, and then select where I want it to go. Here you are right here. You can adjust obviously the direction that's facing. You can adjust the size of it as well simply by doing that. And you can adjust things such as the color and the opacity, as we've seen with many other factors. So you can place these things sort of wherever you want and make things look just basically the way you want them to look. So for example, another one here, a heart. Beautiful. Change the color on that one and you can see that looks pretty cool, and it makes just your life a lot easier when you want to design charts, post screenshots to Twitter, to Hotcop or other forums, or even when you're doing things such as YouTube videos or your own analysis for your own benefit. Often when you're performing your analysis on a chart, you want to understand lengths of time when it comes to certain patterns or trends playing out. TradingView allows you to use this tool on the left known as the measure tool. Simply select it, select your first point, drag all the way across to where you want to go, and then click one more time, and what you'll see is a measurement. Not only that, you can see it's red at this point in time, and that indicates the starting point has been higher than where we've ended up, which means we are seeing a loss over that period of time. You can as well see a series of information below. You can see the price at which we have lost money on. So we've lost $52,000 to the value of Bitcoin, for instance, which is a 75.43% loss from this point to this point in the bottom corner. Make sure you adjust it properly, obviously, and you can see how many bars or how many days in this sort of case we can understand how long this pattern has or this trend has actually occurred. You can also see the volume of trades that have occurred within that period of time as well. If you want this to disappear, all you simply have to do is click and it disappears off your chart. If you want to see an example of what it looks like if you're going in an upwards direction, you can see it is very much the same, but we have a blue format coming into place. From a navigation perspective, as we know, we can click and hold to look around our chart. We can zoom in and out with our scroll wheel or adjust the price in that sort of a way, or the dates at the bottom in order to adjust what exactly we are looking at. But what do we do if we want to look at something very, very specific? Well, there's a zoom in tool on the left and also, of course, a zoom out tool as well. If we select the zoom in tool, what you do is you click and hold, drag the portion of the chart you want to zoom into, and then release your mouse, and that is what will be shown on the screen as well. If you want to zoom out, simply just click that and it will zoom out back to a longer term view. As you can see here, the period of time we're looking at is roughly at about 1.5 years now. Really, really good, and it allows you to quickly dive deep into certain pieces of information if you want to get a good look at the chart itself. Another important feature for traders is watch lists. You've got many stocks, many indices, many cryptos going on at the same time, and you can't just keep looking at one chart. So on the right hand side, what we have is the watch list panel, and you can see all the various indexes here: stocks, futures, Forex, and crypto. This is a fantastic menu that is completely customizable to your desires. A perfect example of this is hitting that add symbol button, which allows you to basically input absolutely anything that you want. So if I want to find BHP shares on the ASX, I could select that one from the add menu. It has now appeared down here at the bottom. I'll simply click on that now and it takes me to the BHP chart. If I want to favorite it, I could click this button, or I can remove it by hitting the X button. Really, really good stuff. And if we want to take an even deeper dive, we can select the advanced view in the top right. What this shows us is various symbol distributions. So of course, all the different types of items that you have in your watch list, so your cryptos, your indexes, etc., as well as the different areas in the market that you are invested in. So electronic technology, technology services, etc. As we go down, what you can see is additional information about the symbols within your watch lists themselves. On the right hand side, you can see we've got things such as volume, market cap, etc. We can hit the financials tab. That brings up more information as well. We can also change the currencies to US dollars if you desire, and you can do exports and other things within this chart as well. If you did have any stocks which have upcoming earnings, these also appear on this chart as well at the bottom of the screen. Now, let's say you wanted some additional information on the chart you're looking at. In the bottom right, we have this section as well. As you can see, we're looking at the Bitcoin USD chart, and the details about that appear below. We can see the exact price action, the difference in trading from the market open from a value perspective as well as various other statistics as we move down. You can see the performance and that sort of thing as well, which is fantastic over various periods of time. Now we do have this little technical section at the bottom as well, which is basically telling us if we should buy or sell based on the technical indicators. Now you might be wondering what these are. Simply click the More Technicals button and this brings up that chart. It shows you all the different oscillators and moving averages that are making up that buy or sell decision that is shown on the summary. We can also change the time period we're looking at. So if we look at the hourly, you'll notice things adjust based on that range, and you can see we now are in a sell category as opposed to the daily, which was sitting at neutral. As we scroll down as well, there's some additional information. If you're into Fibonacci's or anything else like that, there is some information that is contained here. Investors and traders often spend a lot of time trying to screen various stocks, various cryptos, or Forex comparisons, and what we have is basically a screener tool at the bottom here. You can see it says stock screener and it's off the screen, so we can't really see it at this moment. We could expand it out like this, but what I prefer to do is maximize the screen. So I'm going to hit the maximize button here. That will then populate the entire screen, and what we have is basically a selection of stocks that we're seeing now, but we can do, the Forex screener or the crypto screener as well. We're going to stick to the stock screener for this example, and as you can see, we've got 8,388 matches at this point in time, which basically indicates that's how many stocks we are able to compare. And you can see we've got all that information we saw back up the top in the previous screens, but of course in a lot more detail. And you can see really deep diving into all these tabs along the top will provide you an absolute wealth of information. One of the coolest ones I think is the dividend slide, which shows you basically all the dividends that were paid out in the previous periods when these companies did pay their dividends. So really, really cool stuff. Something else I find very useful, if I go back to the overview and I want to see, okay, what are the top stocks from a change percentage? So I'll click on that one. Obviously it's gone to negative, but if I click again, we can see that based on what we're looking at the moment, this company right here at the top, VRAX, has had the highest change percentage based on the time frame we're looking at. So you can see we are on the 1 day time interval. I could technically go to, for instance, the 1 hour interval, and we get various different bits of information that are shown. You can also see over here as well, this is based on markets. Now if I wanted to change to, let's say, the ASX, I could do that, select that, hit apply, and go yes on the filter. Just say most capitalized, whatever you want to go. ASX stocks, for example. Chuck that one on, hit save, and then what we'll see is the financials and all the other information for Australian stocks only. You can see we've only got 2,054 matches now, so really, really beneficial when it comes to looking at a lot of stocks at any point in time. If we want to use that BHP example as well, for instance, we could type in BHP in the search, BHP pops up, and then we can see all the information associated. Really, really beneficial when you are trying to screen a lot of stocks or a lot of cryptos in a very short space of time. You have all this information right here at your fingertips for you to play with at your leisure. And that wraps up my complete beginner's guide to TradingView. Now, obviously, there are so many more features in TradingView for advanced users, but the guide that you have just seen should give you the know-it-how in order to be able to get started and get proficient in order to trade better or even start your trading journey. So make sure that you save this video, refer back to it from time to time if you do get stuck. If you do have any questions as well, let me know. I'm more than happy to help answer those questions, or if there's any other specific features within TradingView itself that you would want to see, make sure you let me know of that as well. I really do hope you enjoyed today's video, so make sure you do leave a like, and if you want to see more of this sort of content, hit that subscribe button as well, and make sure those bell notifications are certainly turned on so you're notified every time a new video is released. This was obviously quite a large endeavor for me in order to put this together, so I really would appreciate your feedback and appreciate your support with the content on this channel. So that wraps things up for today, guys. I hope you have a really awesome day. I'll see you next time. Cheers.